You got jobs and people working in your downtowns. That's awesome. Along those corridors. So blow that horn one more time there, Francis. You got it again? I like that. All right, there we go. All right, so congestion can be good. Appreciate that. We're 21st century here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we got some awards to give away, but first, I think it's important for you all to understand, because you hear me talk about it, and you all know I talk too much, and you tune me out sometimes because I talk too much. But a lot of you know that in between all the stuff I say, okay, there's a couple points there, and that's not egotistical. It's the facts that my job is to come back and tell you the state of transportation. And I will say it again, and I've learned that education occurs through repetition. So I'll say it again and again and again, that public investment in transportation leads to private investment. What is hard to understand about that? What is difficult, Tea Party, to understand that your conservative nature is awesome, except when it comes to infrastructure? If you do nothing, you've done nothing. If you invest in transportation, you have done something that will, by empirical data, lead to private investment. So if government's going to have a role, please don't regulate us, empower us. So with that said, I have a gentleman that understands this better than I, because he works for a private sector-based organization called Floridians for Better Transportation. Lots of contributors that have nothing to do with government that completely 100% get what's happening and what is not happening with transportation in Florida, in the United States of America. So here's a couple things about Doug. Not only has he been with them as the head guy since 2003, he's got some extensive experience in transportation. Here's what I like most about Doug. Not only did he come a couple years ago and speak to our transportation summit at Mission Inn about funding, and I got to tell you, Doug, people talked to me for months about what you had to say about funding, because they said, you know what that guy said? You've been saying that stuff, TJ. I didn't believe it, but then that guy said it, and I believed him. I said, well, that's what he's paid to do. I mean, his wife will tell you he's a very persuasive man. The next thing is Governor Scott. Governor Scott's transition team. You know, he pulled in a lot of resources, and he did a lot of things real quick. He allegedly delayed projects for 90 days in transportation, but then he figured out, wait, whoa. People got the wrong impression. We're fast-tracking the good ones now. We're just making the bad ones accountable. That's okay. But the thing is, I think Governor Scott's intentions really are to get people to work. Doug was on the transition team to help Governor Scott, when he was governor-elect, to really understand what that transportation trust fund means. And Doug is going to reveal some amazing facts about that trust fund that sets it apart from any other funding source in Florida. So be ready for that one, because it does matter. It's all about jobs. Second of all, Doug's going to address a couple things about where we go next. And I have a feeling, now I don't want to assume anything, Doug, but I'm starting to think these elected officials might be on the verge of an epiphany that maybe fuel taxes actually won't work to get us there anymore. So, and that's only because allegedly we're going to consume less of fossil fuels, and we've got some really cool cars that are hybrids. And fact of the matter is, some people just can't afford to keep doing what we've been doing. You can't drive 40 miles to work every day. But with all that said, I want to provide enough build-up, because Doug really does have something to say. I'm going to turn it over. Floridians for Better Transportation, Doug Callaway. Thank you.
I'll use this. It's okay. Great. Can you hear me okay? Great. Well, TJ, I just want to tell you, thank you for having me come. And I got to tell you, of all the introductions, I've been in politics for 30 years now. And of all of the introductions I've ever had, I'm here to tell you, that was the most recent. So thank you for that. No, actually, when somebody gives you, and Madam Mayor, some of the other folks here, you probably know this, when somebody gives you a very effusive introduction, you know what I always tell them is, I wish my parents could be here to hear that. My dad would like it, and my mom would actually believe that crap. So, okay. Sorry, excuse my language. All righty. I'm originally from Broward County, from Pompano a long time ago, but my wife and I haven't lived there for ages. We've lived in Tallahassee 3 times over the past 23 years, lived in D.C. twice, Texas once. You're probably thinking, why does he keep moving? It's harder to hit a moving target last time I checked. So we're there. But I grew up in Southeast Florida, and my dad was a realtor for 35 years. Now, any realtors in the room? Any developers? Okay. You don't have to be a realtor to know this. What's the three most important things in real estate? Right. Location, location, location. Well, do you know what the three most important things in transportation are? Money, money. Harry, what's the last one? That's right. In fact, Harry's trying to step up. Harry's a good friend and one of our FBT members. By the way, before I forget, if you hear or remember nothing else that I say, remember this website, bettertransportation.org. That's our website for Floridians for Better Transportation. George, you know that. Go there. You ought to scroll down to the very bottom and sign up where it says news clips. We send out news clips to over 2,000 of my closest personal friends every Friday morning. And here's the best part. They are free of charge. Free of charge. It's a way to sort of stay connected on transportation. If you're in the private sector, it's an awesome business development tool. So make a note, bettertransportation.org. But Harry's one of our members. Really, my lead-in is this. Any history majors in the room? I'm talking to a gentleman here who's kind of engineering, pre-law. I was political science. Any history majors? Okay. Who was Mark Hanna? It's before your time, don't worry. Okay. Mark, well, that's okay. It's okay. Mark Hanna was chairman of the Republican National Committee in 1896. Okay? He was a senator from Ohio. And Mark Hanna once said, the two most important things in politics are money, and I can't remember what the other one is. So it was along the lines of what Harry said. Harry may have heard that in person. I'm not sure. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't resist. All right. I drove down from Tallahassee today. I'm going to turn around and drive back tonight. I've got a committee meeting to go to tomorrow morning. But and Commissioner Brummer knows this because he was in the legislature for a long time. But I wanted to share with you a couple of important points. I was asked to serve on the governor's, then Governor-elect Scott's transition team for economic development. And first and foremost, I'm grateful that they understood that transportation does equal economic development. It really does. And in fact, Floridians for Better Transportation exists for that purpose, almost exclusively. Ask yourself, okay, I understand why engineers and road builders are involved with Floridians for Better Transportation. Why is Public Supermarkets? Why is SunTrust Bank? Why is Bell's Department Store? Answer, why are local chambers of commerce all over the state? Answer, because they understand that transportation equals economic development. In fact, TJ, in your opening, you talked about congestion and the gentleman in the back with the horn stuff. By the way, I want to make sure when you have the crowd applauding after every one of Steve's songs, and turn that up loud when I'm done. I want to boost my ego here, okay? That was great stuff. But Harry, you know, a friend of mine in D.C., a guy named Alan Pizarski, has a great definition for congestion. Do you know what congestion really is? It's the people with economic means to pursue their hopes, goals, and aspirations, getting in the way of other people with the economic means to pursue theirs. You know, many third world countries that don't have the same level of economic activity don't have the same sorts of congestion we have. You've seen during this economic recession, congestion go down. So congestion is a problem, but it's a symptom of a good thing. That's a growing, dynamic, vibrant economy. So we need to address that in a positive way. But what I want to tell you is this. When I was put on the Economic Development Transition Team, and then they asked me to chair the subgroup of 8 people to review the Florida Department of Transportation. It was kind of a natural. I've been president of Floridians for Better Transportation since '03. I was the federal, you know, kind of makes sense. That wasn't a laugh line. I'm not sure why you laughed, TJ. I was the federal affairs director. George knows I was the federal lobbyist for the Florida DOT from '89 until '01. And then before that, I'd worked for 2 members of Congress on Capitol Hill for a total of about 7 years. So I kind of know transportation a little bit. Now, what was intriguing to me was we had a lot to do in a very short period of time. But we made some pretty important points with the governor, both in writing and in person. And remember, I gave you our website before, bettertransportation.org. If you go there, our entire transition team, all that stuff is right on our homepage. You can click on it. We've got a preface written by me exclusively, about a 14-page executive summary. Again, it's bettertransportation.org. All sorts of other stuff, but it's really helpful. I would encourage you to read that. And I'm going to try to summarize about